Hello, and welcome back as I continue to explore the depths of my despair and ennui in Perfidious Pete Plays XCOM, The Long War 2. And the question I have to ask here is anybody having fun yet with The Long War 2? Because I've played like maybe close to 100 missions of Long War 2 at this point, and I have to say, I haven't really felt like, with the exception of maybe 4 or 5 of those missions, I haven't really felt like I've been having fun, per se. It's just, when do I get back to, when does this game become XCOM? That's what I want to know. When do I get to take my squad of badass soldiers with their state of the badass art weapons out and kick the shit out of some aliens? That's what I want to know. When do I get to fight them? When does it stop being just grindy stealth mission after grindy stealth mission and unexciting combat after unexciting combat? When does this part all stop, and when does actual XCOM start again? That's really what I want to know. Because right now, I have to say, you know what it feels like? It feels like I'm playing a slightly shittier version of Xenonauts. And you know what? If I wanted to play Xenonauts, I could just go play Xenonauts. That game exists. It'd be fine. I could just go play it. Yeah, okay, a graze, sure, because of course it was. You don't actually get to hit regular enemies. Oh, alright, that guy's taking shots at us despite wandering into an Overwatch ambush. Perfectly sensible. I mean, again, if I wanted to play Xenonauts, I could go do it. And this, how does all this factor into what's going on here, Pete? Well, it doesn't factor in at all. It's just, I needed a chance, to, I'm venting a little bit here. But also, the other important thing is that it gives me an opportunity to sort of restate my position on Long War in general and Pavonis Interactive in particular, which is that I kind of don't feel like they understand video games. I really don't. And what are we going to do here? We're just going to keep falling back out of line of sight and make these guys come fight us. But I kind of feel like they don't understand video games. For instance, let's say you wanted a development studio to build you a copy, like, make me interactive checkers. Make me digital checkers. You hired Pavonis Studio to do that. They would definitely do it. They would knock that right out of the park. They'd be like, you want digital checkers? Okay, here we go. And they would come up with a fantastic version, a fantastic digital version of the classic board game. That is within their wheelhouse. The thing you couldn't do is go to Pavonis Studios and say, here are 24 circular discs and a board with 64 squares of alternating colors. We need you to come up with a game. Can you create some kind of game out of this, what we have here? Can you find a way to... Excuse me? Why did he get a shot at all? Because from the tile I moved to, he couldn't even fucking see me. You know what? I don't even care anymore. Again, back to the checkers thing. So that you could be like, please make a game out of these circles and this board. Try and find a way to make this into an actual game. If you did that, 3 weeks later, what Pavonis would come back with is like a sack of sawdust after having thrown the board into a wood chipper, and then they'd bring you a dildo made of melted plastic, and they would cram the dildo in your ass. And when they were done, they'd be like, okay, there's the dildo. Here's a big bag of sawdust. Now the game is for you to see how much of the sawdust you can swallow before you die of a bowel obstruction. This guy he cannot be killed by mortal weapons. Our entire team, oh, nope, somebody finally killed him. But they'd be like, that's the game. See how much of this you can swallow before you die of a bowel obstruction. And you'd be like, well, that doesn't sound very fun at all. And they'd be like, well, that's it. That's the game. That's the whole thing right there. That's the game. Bowel obstruction. Go. We call it the game of incontinence. They don't understand what makes games fun. They can make a game, they can't make fun. And I know a bunch of you out there right now will be like, oh, Pete, you just don't like Long War 2 because you're bad at it. And you know what? That's not true. I love tons of games I am bad at because, by and large, I am bad at most games, and I still like to play games. Let me say some examples. Let's say, like The Binding of Isaac. That game's really hard, and I'm terrible at it. And yet, I have like 350-some total hours amongst the various Isaacs, because Isaac is fun. It doesn't matter that I'm bad at it. When I play it, I'm having fun. Enter the Gungeon. Kind of the same sort of deal. I'm terrible at Enter the Gungeon. I don't think I've ever even gotten past, like, the 4th floor. And yet, I still enjoy Enter the Gungeon because it's a fun game. I streamed PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds for like 6 hours last Friday, and you know what? I had a blast the entire time. And it's not that we won. I don't think our team even ever really got sort of close to victory. But you know what we did have? We had fun the whole time we were playing it. We were all having a great time because PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, despite being difficult, is a really fun game. It's great. The game is a blast. Europa Universalis 4, another game that is extraordinarily difficult and which I'm not particularly good at. I've beaten EU4, but I'm by no means an expert, and I probably have 250 hours in that game. It's hard, but what it really boils down to with those games and what makes, I think for me at least, part of what the difference between Long War II is those games are fair. They have an internally consistent set of rules. The games are fair. And Long War II, one, it doesn't even tell you the rules, so it's difficult to determine whether or not the rules are internally consistent, because honestly, you're just straight up playing in the dark. You don't actually know what the rules are. And the other thing, I don't know how to describe it. I really don't. For once, despite a degree in the liberal arts and English itself, I'm kind of at a loss for words here. The best analogy I can give for this is playing the Long War II feels a lot like playing a game of Monopoly. Except you're playing against a person who gets to go twice. For every time you get to roll the dice, they get to roll the dice twice. They get to go twice to every single one of your moves. And when you pass go, they take your money. That's what it feels like. The enemies have literally every advantage coming into this. And it forces you to do stupid, ridiculous bullshit like this, where I'm just sitting up here camping a goddamn railing waiting for Advent to walk into my fucking guns. Yeah, Operation Steaming Doom was really accomplished. We killed 25 aliens. 3 wounded, we succeeded, but you know what? I take no satisfaction from this whatsoever. I don't feel a tiny iota of triumph. I just feel fucking tired. It really is. Also, I might not have ended last episode in the middle if I had known that there was only 1 pod left. I honestly thought there would be more than 25 aliens on that map, but I guess the AI didn't want to give me an opportunity to get too many, supplies. No, that would be too good. You can't actually have supplies because again, when you pass go, I take your money. That's the way Long War II works. It's not because the game is hard that I'm having fun. It's just because I'm having trouble finding the way to have fun with Long War II. It's supposed to simulate the fact that you're fighting a guerrilla war, Pete. It's not supposed to be fun. Now, see, that's, I think, where people are getting confused with the Long War II. Like, it's not supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be fighting a hard-fought, bitter guerrilla conflict against overwhelming opposition. And no, you're not correct. That's the story behind the game. That's not the game. The game itself is the game, and the purpose of it is to be fun and enjoyable. It's not to simulate actual reality. It's not like they call it XCOM enemy alien killing simulator. No, it's not. That's not the purpose. It's supposed to feel like that. It just means they did a good job. No, it means they made something that's really not very fun. Because you know what? By and large, fighting a guerrilla conflict against a vastly superior foe fucking isn't fun at all. It's definitely a thing you don't want to do. Go ask the Sandinistas or the Contras, if you can find... Oh, wait, you can't because they're fucking all dead. So, we could pick up Interference, which... I actually kind of regret making Patton Lightning. Lightning, by the way, is a fantastic nickname for Patton Oswalt. Making Patton Oswalt not a medic and giving him combat protocol, but since we've already done it, I think we just eschew the medic tree altogether. Interference is actually reasonably useful. Being able to cancel Overwatch does have some potential. Jim Super Dad Gaffigan is lightly wounded. He's out for 8 days. 25 dodge against... I mean, that's not terrible. Lone Wolf. We are trying to make Jim Gaffigan a killing shinobi, but I still feel like even for your killing shinobi, Shadow Step is the ability of choice. And Lance Corporal Chris Rock is going to be wounded for 6 days. What do we want to give him? Locked On is pretty good, but again, we're trying to make him into an Overwatch trooper. Would I rather maybe he have suppression? Because he could lock down an enemy and then take a shot at them whether or not they move or whether or not they shoot. Locked On is pretty good, though. If you miss the first shot, try again with a bonus. I like that. It's sort of like, oh, Chris Frosty Rock. He's a Frosty Rock. That sounds like something that you would get at like a Wendy's. You'd pull up to the drive-thru, give them $4, be like, hey man, give me a Frosty Rock, and then they'd give you like it would be an over-frozen brick of soft serve ice cream. They'd take soft serve ice cream and like chuck it in a vat of liquid nitrogen and make it into an actual ice cream rock, and he'd be like, here you go, one Frosty Rock. And it wouldn't be gigantic. It would be small enough to fit in like the palm of your hand so you could eat it in one bite. You probably wouldn't get a Frosty Rock. You'd probably get like a cup of Frosty Rocks, and you eat them one at a time. They'd be like little bonbons of delicious frosty ice cream. See, these are the kind of things that Perfidious Pete thinks about. These are the kind of things that I do to distract myself from the fact that the long War II really feels like maybe it's grinding me down a little bit. I'm gonna take... Suppression takes so much ammo. How much ammo does suppression take, too? Yeah, see that? I mean, Chris Rock would be able to suppress, and then also if he used another bullet, he's going to be spending all of his time freaking reloading. I'd really rather just have him be locked on and have that enemy unit be dead rather than on its feet. Plus, you know what? If it turns out that there's a synergy bonus that we're missing, we can always respec. That's one thing I think that Vanilla Deuce XCOM actually got correct, is the whole respec thing. What did we pick up? 6 alloys, 7 Illyrium, 40 supplies, a Viper Corpse, a Muton Corpse, a Drone Wreck, some Stun Lancers and Troopers, which I guess in theory we could sell. Muton Autopsy is probably one we'll do in the very near future just because I would love to get my hands on Plasma Grenades. Not that we have a proving ground yet because we've been completely supply starved, because every time we pass go, Face will stake my $200. I really don't know what to do. I know one thing we have to do, though, which is we have a pending retaliation mission coming at our haven, so we should set that up, because otherwise, yeah, I know there's a supply drop available, but I have like 75 other priority tasks. We got Operation Perilous Skies here that we're going to have to try and get a team together for. So it took us 3 hours to fly here. How come I can fly around the world in like 7 hours, but to go from like Eastern Africa to Southern Africa it takes 3 hours? Salty about the time travel. All right, so let's first off, let's get rid of the groundings. We're gonna take the Laugh Factory, or rather what's left of them on this one. Do we have... Okay, you know what? Patton Oswalt, you're out. I want a medic. Do we have... We got Bob Newhart. You know what, Bob Newhart? I'm saying yes to Bob. I was going to say I'm saying yes to Bob Newhart, but I'm actually not. I don't want to pull him out of training when I already have a specialist sort of on hand. Bob Newhart's an officer, though. You know what? Yeah, fuck you, Patton Oswalt. I'm going to go fetch Bob Newhart. I'm sorry, I got to pull you out of school, Bob. I know this is not going to go over well with the courts when we go have the custody hearing, because I'm constantly taking you out of school, but what can I say? On this mission, Bob, I need you, buddy. I need you. I need that dried wit of yours to try and bolster me up and help me find the fun here in a situation where I'm not really feel like I'm having a whole lot of fun. So, Patton Oswalt, beat it. Give me a Bob Newhart instead. Also, I want a damn medic on this mission rather than another technical. And I really need those. I need his officer abilities. We need them. Karen, Whoopi, you know, Whoopi Goldberg, despite your ridiculously poor foot speed, I kind of feel like you have turned into a respectable trooper force. We got Don the Roastmaster Rickles here. So, Joe Brand, I'm going to say yes to Joe Brand. I need anybody I can get. Dave Insomniac Attell as a gunner, certainly. Who's higher level? You were Paula Poundstone. You're both sergeants, actually. We're also going to do this. Strip all weapon upgrades and make all weapons available. We're getting low on this one. We're taking, sure, newfound technical Rita Rudner. Hell yeah, get on the mission, girl. That's fine. And then we've got... We can take Assault Trooper. Wait, I saw an Assault Trooper. Where'd he go? John Stewart? John Stewart. We could take an Assault Trooper, or we could take a Sharpshooter. We could pull one of our Sharpshooters. Like, we could grab a Quack Quack out of our Haven Advising. Because Gilbert Gottfried is doing the whole Haven Advisor thing right now. Who's our other Haven Advisor? Wanda Sykes. Who's got a better aim? Wanda Sykes. She's a squatty, whereas Quack Quack is... Oh, no. They actually have this. They have the same aim? They're both a 71. Gilbert Gottfried's higher rank. So we could have Patton Oswalt sub in for Gilbert Gottfried and grab a Sharpshooter? I don't know if I really want a Sharpshooter. Would I rather have a sharpshooter and assault trooper? What I'd rather have is another shinobi, because I think we only got one, right? We got one shinobi. We got a lot of AoE damage. And, no, actually, no, we don't. We got Don Roastmaster Rickles, and we got Whoopi Goldberg. We got Bob Newhart, who has a gun, but is not. We got 2 gunners. Rita Rudner. Rita Rudner is also a technical, so she brings some AoE damage to the table as well. You know what, John Stewart? Maybe this is your time, because I know you're way faster, or at least I think slightly faster than our other assault trooper. Well, you're a 15, so never mind. You're not even faster. You're like basically just as good. We're gonna give you a scatter ray, arc thrower. How much speed are we gonna need? Probably some. Let's get rid of this, and you know what? Ditch the frag as well. We're gonna want speed out of you. Rita Rudner, we sent you on a mission as an escort for somebody, which is why you have a smoke grenade. In this case, we're gonna need to kill enemies, not annoy them with pretty colored smoke. This is not a rave. We got other shit to do, so we're gonna have to give you an actual weapon. Dave Insomniac Attell. I don't suppose we have a better gun for you. Do we have a laser lance? No, we got your standard cannon. Okay, we're gonna have to do weapon upgrades as well. And again, here's another aspect of the Long War that old Perfidious Pete isn't like super enthused about. Right here is the maintenance, the between episode maintenance, but I mean we gotta do a lot of this shit. So if we're gonna slow somebody down, I feel like that somebody is Bob Newhart. So Bob Newhart, we don't need to sneak on this one. I'm getting rid of your SMG. I'm actually going to give you a regular laser rifle on this one. I know it lowers your foot speed, but you're going to have to be doing some shooting for us, Bob. So we're going to need a little bit of gunplay. Joe Brand, you're fast enough. I'm going to equip you with a frag grenade. Give you a little extra punch. Paula Poundstone, you're probably good. Dave Attell, you're probably good. So what does that leave us to remain? Weapon upgrades, I guess, is it? And this is another aspect that, Pete, you really seem like you're firing a lot of shots at the Long War. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm firing too many shots at the Long War. Paula Poundstone has an advanced autoloader, expanded magazine in stock. That's acceptable. It is. I mean, again, it does fall into the Perfidious Pete paradigm, which I should be cognizant of. Is that, you know, it is free. So there's that. You gotta think about this, Pete. They're not. There's no barrier to entry. They're not really asking a lot out of you. The game is free. This is true. Honestly, though, if I had paid for it, I think I'd be considerably more salty than I am now. But I haven't, so I'm not. This is our team. We're gonna launch this mission. They don't infiltrate. I think when we launch this, the mission just starts. But probably this is where I'll wrap things up. I feel that I've probably spent enough time complaining about the old Long War here. Operation Perilous Skies is ready to go. This is going to be a weird place to put in a break. I mean, I don't actually want to play this mission, but there's no way for us to launch it in between, so I'm probably going to put a cut in here, and then we'll just pick up once we've landed. Fly the Perilous Skies. Hey, it's the new United logo. They're reminding us that we may beat you and drag you physically off a plane because we sold somebody else the seat you already paid for. Operation Perilous Skies. It's also the code name for when they drug that guy off of the plane. They're like, hey, United, fly the Perilous Skies. It's in Humanity Valley, too. As in, oh, the humanity that the people looking on to the situation are going to be forced to say while they, you know, cell phone videotape the guy being beaten and drug off a plane. Now that I think about it, you know what? It sort of feels like maybe Long War 2 is the Pavonis of the skies. Okay, so we've played this mission type before. Enemy reinforcements actually show up every turn. Our goal is to grab these people and try and run them to the evac zone. How many? I don't remember how many. You know what? This is all for next time. I've complained enough, and honestly, I've played enough Long War for one day. I really feel like I could use a little break. I could use a little break because I'm kind of at my breaking point. If you enjoyed the episode, feel free to drop a like down in the comment section. Support really does mean a lot. If you'd like to see more XCOM 2, might consider subscribing as well. Post new episodes every single day, for now at least. Right now, though, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.